Colin Firth, what is the main attraction when you read the script of When the Truth Lies?
Well, in this case, I was intrigued before I read the script because of Atom's involvement. He's always somebody that has had, I feel, almost his own genre. And I don't think I've ever seen a film of his which lacks a lot of power and has an extremely interesting core idea. And he spoke to me before he sent me the script because he wanted to qualify a couple of things. So I don't think I hesitated for very long at all. I found it very poignant territory. I think anybody who's in the entertainment business would surely be attracted to this because it reveals so many paradoxes and so many of the conflicts, I think, which lie behind appearances.
And one of the paradoxes, Atom chose an English actor, not an American. In the novel, there is two Americans. The hero, Vince and Larry, are both American.
Yes.
And here there is why you think he chose he want to choose an English actor.
I don't think he was specifically interested in my nationality. I think he considered that to be something we could use of interest in terms of the act. But the first conversation he had with me made it very clear that, in fact, the reason why he wanted to speak to me before I read the script is because he said from the beginning that he was going to depart from the characters in the book. That if one had any sense that the characters in the book were familiar or were based on anybody historical, he wanted to lose that. This was not the case in this film, and he wanted to tailor the roles a lot more to the qualities of the actors that he had. And he's very skilled at doing that.
Yes, but you know, in the 40s or in the 50s, in the American movie, especially film de genre or film noir, there was an English actor like Noel Coward or Laurence Olivier, so it's strange to have
Well, Cary Grant, of course, defined a lot of the film noirs, and he was the quintessential Englishman in the American film noir. I mean, I feel, when I look back over history, to try to have some sort of model, to try to find some sort of model for Vince Collins, I can't find it. Not an exact model, and I feel I should. I felt he's a character that should have existed. There is no double act making use of that English patter. There are pieces of Peter Lawford in the back, the Rat Pack, you could say, only insofar as he's an Englishman in that world. But he's not. This character is not at all Peter Lawford. You could say there are pieces of Cary Grant, and that Cary Grant was an actor in Hollywood at the time, in films. You say there are pieces of Noel Coward in the way that he used the dry English wit in relation to the Americans. He's not any of those characters. He's not even based loosely on any of those characters. So I feel, in some ways, he was a creation out of thin air, but I feel he should have existed.
And what do you think of because I think it's a really this film is really a film of in French we say cinéphile, of people who love cinema. In this movie, Los Angeles have an important part, have a role. LA have a special role. I think it's the main character. It's another character, but it's a character also. So when I see the movie, I say it's really a film around the movie and around Hollywood and all the magic of Hollywood.
It has a very particular place. Any film that you make which uses as its reference point film or entertainment or Hollywood, it has to be handled very well. But I think that has a very special place in the cineast's heart, because we do live in a culture of perpetual reflexivity. Our source material is frequently our own, what we produce ourselves. Films use other films. Books refer to other books. And I think that the layers and layers of irony and self-consciousness are now something that we tell stories about. So I think from that point of view, I think Atom is already very much beloved of the cinephiles, but I think this time, because it's focusing on showbiz, it even more concentrates, I would say, on that in that way.
Yeah, but it's also about the dream factory of Hollywood or LA or
Yes. I think that the Alice in Wonderland is a very, very good image for this, because you have this apparent, in the story of Alice, you have this apparent fairy tale with the sweet little blonde girl going on an adventure, and in fact the adventure she goes on is very, very dark, hallucinogenic and corrupt and violent. And I think that one of the most poignant myths that we can, well, I wouldn't call it a myth in the sense that it's one of our modern personal myths, is that of the relationship between appearance, between front stage and backstage, between the presentation of the dream and the reality behind. And in this case, you know, the film opens as we're using our rather sweet and innocent comedy to help sick children. Meanwhile, there's a dead girl lying in the hotel room.
And this one is fantastic. This is the first when Kevin Bacon is crying and all is finished, our friendship is finished. And one of the other scenes is really good. It's really funny when Kevin is with I don't remember the name of the actress at the end of the film, and he say, "No, we have said we are just friends." It's really nice. It's really good. And on this particular scene, but I think your character is more strong than the other, because your strength is from your ambiguity. The character, the ambiguity of the character is not the strength of this character.
Possibly. I mean, I think that it makes him, I don't know, do you mean strong in him, that he's a strong person?
Yeah.
Yes, but I think that he's crushed by doubt, and I think he's crushed by solitude. The predominant feeling that I had about him while I was doing it was how lonely this character is. And I know there are all sorts of cliches about the loneliness in the midst of fame and adoration. But I think that he's rendered desperately isolated by the secret that he has. And it's just a cruel irony that he's wrong about the secret, as it turns out. But he has a terrible secret and a huge amount of scrutiny, and the pressure of that is crippling. So if you have something to hide, you really don't want the world's cameras on you. So I think he suffers terribly from that, and I think he desperately tries to reinvent himself and feed himself substance. He talks about wanting to read and not wanting to be Vince Collins anymore, and all the time he's being blackmailed, and he has no reference point. His old friend has deserted him, and I think he's also frightened of anything that's likely to remind him of what happened. So I think he has survived up to a point, but in the end, he's not strong enough to live on. He kills himself. So ultimately, it's a defeat.
Thanks.
Without wanting to give too much away, by the way, maybe you should cut that.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.